In today's video, I'm going to share with you a total and complete guide to winter fruit tree care. I'm going to set up the camera, and from start to finish, I'm going to share with you how I go about pruning a 7-year-old semi-dwarf fruit tree in apium growing back here. It's now in full maturity, looking forward to an abundant harvest this year. Give you some close-up shots, talk about what it is I'm doing and why. After the pruning, I'm going to go ahead and do a treatment which is going to help to prevent any fungus or disease issues from popping up later in the season. Important stuff. Hope you guys enjoy. And so without further ado, let's go head out to the food forest. So this is the tree that I'll be using as my example today. As you can see, we've got a beautiful structure developed on this tree over the past 7 years. There's a lot of new fruiting wood that's developed on this tree. But the main issue right now is the height. You can tell where I made some cuts the previous year, keeping the tree at a nice manageable level. And we've got a good 5 to 6 foot of growth shooting straight up. We want to bring that back down so that the canopy is at a lower level so that we can reach the fruit as it grows. We're also going to go about thinning out the middle a little bit. If you've got any branches like this one here growing right into the center of the tree, we're going to go ahead and take that out. We're going to look for diseased and dead wood in here, remove any of that we see. And this all in all should take probably about 45 minutes. I like to take my time, enjoy the moment. It's like a meditation for me. For this job, I'm only going to need 2 tools. That's a pair of sharp, clean pruners and a fine-tooth handsaw. For today's demonstration, I'm going to start off by bringing the tree down to size. So I'm going to be cutting some of these branches that are shooting straight up and giving myself a nice visual of how the overall structure of the tree is going to look. So right here is an example of a branch that's shooting straight up. So all along this branch, you can see these little nodes here. Now everywhere you see a node, that's where new growth is going to occur and a new branch is going to form. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm making my cuts as to what direction that branch is going to start to grow out at. For example, with this branch here, I want the growth to come out towards me this way. So I'm going to make a cut just above that node at a slight angle. You want to cut it at an angle because you don't want any water to pool, you want it to shed off of the cut. So here we go. It's important you have a nice sharp pair of pruners for this job. You don't want to cause any damage. You don't want to hurt the tree. Nice sharp pair of pruners are going to make easy work out of this, make a nice clean cut. Want to avoid cutting it so that you're above a node where the branch is going to grow inward. So I'm just going to continue to go around and make these cuts. I'm going to be paying attention to those nodes, and I want the node that's just below the cut that I make to be pointing in the direction that I want that new branch to grow out at. I'm just going to make a snip right above that node there. Same thing here. I've got a node shooting in this direction. Actually, I might let this one stay. Let me think about that for a minute. It's okay to take a little bit of time and figure out if that's for sure the cut you want to make. Remember, you can't take a cut away. All you can do is wait for the next season. So even if you make a mistake, not that big of a deal. It's going to grow back. You're going to be able to prune it nice and shapely the way you want it in the future. But to avoid making wrong cuts is also important. So take your time. Enjoy the process. So at an angle. But now I'm going to be focusing on taking out any cross branches, or like I said, branches growing right into the middle of the tree. Alright, so both this branch and this here are kind of growing into each other. So I got to look at both of them and say, well, which one do I want to encourage to grow? Whichever one that is, I'm going to take the other one out. In this case, I want to encourage this branch to grow, so I'm going to be taking this branch out here. I'm also going to be taking these two out because they're kind of growing into the tree. And I'm going to prune this one back just a little bit with the growth node going this way. And now I've got room for these other branches to grow. I'm going to take out this little downward growing limb and this inward growing limb here. Focus on this one here, which means I'm going to take this one back because they're going to grow into each other. Just like that. Now in here we got two little small limbs growing straight up into the tree. I'm going to go ahead and take those all the way back to the main branch. Take this guy out. And this guy. Over here, I'm going to thin this out a little bit. So I'm going to promote this guy here and this one here. Take out these other two, and this one that's growing upward. So now I'm focusing all that energy onto those two branches. I'm just going to continue to go around and make these decisions without overthinking it. Taking time, but not overthinking. Got some dead branches here. Little black-ended, dried-up branch. Anywhere I see any of those, I'm going to just take those out real quick. That one's growing into the other branch here. Now these two branches are crossing. I want to promote this to grow out this way. I don't want to take this one completely out, so I'm going to look for a node to shoot it in this direction, which is all the way down here. So now this new growth is going to come out here. This is going to shoot up here. Inward growth. Bring this out of the trail a little bit. This is my pathway right here. Bring this out of the pathway a bit. Got a node shooting this way. Same on this one. Now you see how this branch is growing straight in towards this other branch here? Don't want that. I'm pretty much done at this point. Just going around making a few touch-up cuts. And is it perfect? No. That's okay, because there will be a follow-up pruning in the spring and in the summer, a light pruning. Definitely don't want to do too much pruning once you start getting full sun exposure, or else if you pull back too much of that canopy, you can get what's called sun scald, which can really damage the tree. So we want to avoid that. But we've got it to a point where any subsequent cuts are just going to be management. Just a quick little fine-tuning of what we've accomplished here today. So now that I'm done with my winter pruning on this tree, I'm now going to apply a treatment which is going to protect this tree from future fungal and disease issues, and that's by applying a copper fungicide. So this is the product I'll be using to treat my fruit tree today. This is a copper fungicide by Bonide. This is made for organic gardening, and as you can see, it controls many different problems from powdery mildew to black spot and rust. It's also good for roses, fruits, and vegetables as well. I've got a 1-gallon pump sprayer here, and you just need to add about 2 ounces for a gallon of water. And I'm just going to eyeball this. And we're going to avoid filling the pump sprayer completely up to the top because we want a little airspace in there so that we can pump in some pressure. Now, although it's organic, you still want to take proper precautions and keep yourself safe during application. And the main thing is you don't want to breathe this stuff in, so you want to get yourself a good respirator mask. This one here by 3M with the 2097 filter pads. This is the way to go. This will filter out fine particulate. You don't have to worry about breathing any of this stuff in. What are you doing, Happy? By the way, it's Happy's birthday today. She's 8 years old. Oh, don't worry, Happy. We'll play later. You got a steak for dinner, okay? Atta girl. All right, so what we want to accomplish here is we want to completely saturate this entire tree from head to toe. We want to make sure that we get all these little nodes where the buds are starting to come out. We want to cover the tree with this spray. That's going to protect it for the upcoming season. You're going to want to douse the tree to the point where you see it start dripping off. Try and stand in a direction where the wind's not blowing so you don't get the back spray. Now, these fungal diseases and blights, once you see even one small sign of it in your garden, it can spread like crazy, like wildfire. All right, in just a couple minutes now, I got this tree completely treated with the copper fungicide. And with just a gallon of this solution, you can get 2 to 3 trees this size completely treated. Usually it only takes but one application per season to protect the tree, but you can apply 2 to 3 times depending on your situation. If you got rains coming in, that can wash some of the protectant away. You're going to want to reapply. But the real key to this is to apply during dormant season when you first start seeing these little buds appear, all the way up until the point where they're popcorn buds and they're just about to explode into flowers. Once you do have flowers on the tree, you're going to want to back off and not apply this anymore. That's because that's when the bees come in. You don't want to interfere with that cycle. You definitely don't want to harm the bees. This can harm the bees if you spray during flowering. And bees are our gardening buddies, remember that? So take care of them. Now I'm going to move on to the next fruit tree and repeat the same exact procedure. You can see over here, I already pruned several of the other fruit trees. They're all ready to go, but I've still got several, about 8 or 9 that I need to prune. Well, that's going to do it for now. I want to thank everybody for watching. Hope this video was helpful or at least entertaining for you in some way. So with that, I want to wish you all a great rest of your day. And until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com reminding you to plant a fruit tree or two, take care of it, nurture it, and enjoy the abundance. You'll be happy you did.